Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we speak, Cloud9 are setting up, looking for their first win to lock in a quarterfinal spot. And as they do that, Riven quick shot getting in a little throw time as they're tossing swag out to the audience. Lots of fun out there. Now, before we get to the game, I want to come to you guys because that was a dismantling of Cloud9 there by Fnatic. And they have only 15 minutes to get back into their heads, figure out what went wrong, and get back out on the stage with the right mentality. They are a team of 4 veterans, though.
Yeah.
So if history says anything, they should be able to do that.
I feel like that's going to be pretty easy for Cloud9 to do. Knowing High, he's just going to be like, hey, guys, we got blasted. Let's just go back out on the Rift. Quick loss. They didn't have to dwell over it very long. The downtime between games is pretty much the duration of the game. They'll get it out of them pretty quickly. They'll come back again.
You get stomped too fast to even remember. Yeah, knocked out. It's like, what?
What happened?
Oh, all right, let's
round two.
AHQ. All right, move on. Yeah.
But we asked, can AHQ learn something from this? And probably not. I think the only thing is like try to 2v2 Cloud9 with a winning lane, because the bar was set very high in the quality of play, which is not something that we saw from their previous game against IG. So I don't think there really was all that much to take away from. So they should probably just stick to their main plan, which they prepared obviously throughout the week against Cloud9, and not try to take too much from what Fnatic played. Play to your own identity, of course.
Now, Tabe, we saw Fnatic attack the mid lane in the bans with the Veigar and the Azir ban. Do you expect AHQ to do the same thing with their reliance on Westor playing things like Fizz?
I think Veigar is really afraid of assassins, and maybe he will choose to bring some protective summoner spells such as Exhaust or Barrier. But I think because it is worldwide known that Westor is really good at assassin champions, but I think IG didn't ban against him. And Westor is still picking assassin champions. That means I think he has his own thoughts too. So I think maybe AHQ is better.
Okay. Well, that's a great way for us to get into our predictions then with this game, C9 or AHQ. Let's hop into it, Tabe. I assume that means you then are going with AHQ.
Yeah, I think AHQ is pretty sure is better than C9, because based on the previous 2 games, we can see that HQ's today, Sif and Mountains is doing really good. His cocoons are almost like 100% accuracy. And the next thing is, I think C9 has only like 15 minutes to prepare from the huge loss last game.
All right. Zarid?
I got to go with America again on this one. You know, it was a really fast game. I feel like they'll bounce back here. I want to see more strategies from them, but the last time they went against AHQ, it's not going to be as easy as it was before, because that was Mountains Rengar, and we all remember Mountains Rengar, not for the right reasons, though. And it was Fizz against Veigar last time as well. They were able to play that into it, and it seemed like that threw AHQ off. They might throw a ban at that, but that'll also clog up their pick and bans a little bit. We'll see what ends up happening here, but I do have to give C9 the edge, even coming off of that loss.
Do you have the NA faith as well?
I do. I do have it, of course, but my concern for this is that we've seen Purple side be always funneled into Gangplank, Mordekaiser bans, and it doesn't leave room for more diversity. I want to see them just, you know what, screw it. We're going to leave these champions, because the one guy that has been crucial for the victories and losses for HQ has been Mountain. And the one time that he was just absolutely horrendous was when he did not have Rek'Sai or Elise. So he's only played Rek'Sai, Elise, and Rengar. Ban those 2 out, and maybe hope that the Gangplank and the Mordekaiser don't carry and affect the game as much as the Elise or the Rek'Sai have for AHQ.
I think he also has Gragas to fall back on, though, but we haven't seen it this tournament, and that was why it was really odd to see the Rengar in the first place.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see if Cloud9 can get that first win that they're looking for, or whether or not AHQ can keep their run going here in week 2. The teams are ready, so let's send it inside the venue for Champion Select.
Thank you very much, Dash, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Doc Pullman, and we're very excited, of course, as usual, to get into our 3rd match here of the day. Cloud9, it's going to be rough, because, I mean, I guess it's probably better than if the last game was a slugfest that they lost, because they got that loss out of the way pretty quickly, you know, and then you can move on. 20 minutes, you're done, let's clear our heads, move into this game.
Cloud9 have gotten a lot of flack this entire season, so as they said, I think they will be able to brush it off. The only concerning thing is that, as Tabe said, they only had 15 minutes to prepare for this setup and this picks and bans.
That's a very good point, but we are into Champion Select straight away, as you mentioned, pretty quick here as Azir immediately removed. Gangplank, no surprises, is going to take the bench as well. Veigar and Mordekaiser follow. looking pretty standard, but lots of mid lane focus. There's the Tom Kench band away.
Yeah, exact same bans here from AHQ. Not really a surprise. Cloud9 will not get
Will it be the
fire
Elise
picks
ban?
in the
That's
mid lane
question.
for Incarnation.
Question is that Lulu going to be the final ban
Yeah.
here, and are they going to hand over that Elise to Mountain once again?
Yeah, I think you can leave the Lulu up. Mountain's probably going to prioritize the Elise, so I would try and maybe spend a ban on... Ooh, I was going to say TF, but I guess they're more scared of the Fizz.
They took no time in picking up that Elise. Of course, probably still the most first pick champion of Worlds thus far. Already had a pretty considerable statistic, and now, so far in 3 games, first picked every time.
Her early game is just dominating. And you
Yeah.
can see the difference between an Elise hitting cocoons and missing them does mean everything, but Mountain showed towards the end of the game a lot better performance on his Elise.
Well, yeah, he did
Started with a couple snafus.
started with a couple snafus
Just
early,
working out the cobwebs, guys. That's what you have to do.
but in the later game, he did help considerably with a lot of those picks. As you were saying, started 0-2 and ended up going 3-2 and 5.
Yeah.
So 3-0-5 in the interim into the mid game, and it will be Darius and Lee Sin once more for Cloud9.
Yep. And I would
Interesting.
say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it was pretty broke in the last game. So hopefully they can figure something out for the rest of the picks. Mountain considering Albus's Thresh one more time, and that's the pick combo that they managed to dismantle Invictus Gaming with.
I think you just go for pick. How did C9 lose that last game? Just get crowd control in all the lanes. They can play the Gnar. Ziv has had a great Gnar game so far in this tournament. Play it into the Darius again.
AHQ, they already banned out the Tom Kench, which is a great counter to the single target pick here. So, and I mean, Janna does have her weaknesses as well, can get blown up before she can even react.
So I like it. Take the Thresh, take the Jinx. Those are going to be locked in. You have tons of gank pressure now on
Yeah.
that bottom side, just like we saw in the last game with the Kennen and the Shen combo. So you have a lot of change CC in both of these 2 lanes. And C9 are going to be looking...
Will it just be the Tristana Morgana?
So you can do that, and you can go with a Lulu Morgana combo and Black Shield plus Lulu Speed at Darius for the ultimate Juggernaut. But even so, the Lantern, there's nothing you can do to stop Thresh saving someone on the front with a Lantern.
Oh, it's the Braum instead here for Cloud9. So Elimination going to be bringing the chair to the bottom lane. Now AHQ to round out their lineup. And does Westor just default back? He just looks down his list of mid laners.
Ari.
Goes Twisted Fate, probably the one that I'm going to go to next, because that one's not banned away.
High probability, but Cloud9 are saving their mid lane pick for a counter pick. So Twisted Fate pick. I know that Westor is very confident in his Twisted Fate, but Incarnation also quite good on Assassins. LeBlanc is still up, and Incarnation's been quite good with LeBlanc as well.
Yeah, the Gnar, not really a surprise coming in from Ziv. Had an outstanding performance on that champion already.
He's just been all around so good for this team.
Yeah, got a fair bit of inspiration from Huni in that last game as well, who played an excellent Gnar into that Darius. And Twisted Fate, no
Yep.
surprise, going to be locked in.
Well, if you're AHQ, maybe you're willing to take that risk with the TF just because you just saw how C9 lost. You know if you were very aggressive, you're constantly diving those side lanes, you can get an advantage.
Plus, TF does have a great setup for Elise. If you gold card,
Yeah,
then
that's a lot of single target
it's a
CC.
guaranteed cocoon to land. So there can be a lot of pressure put on mid, even if there's an assassin there. And it comes down to the 2v2 outplay. And as we saw in the last game, Cloud9 did lose the first 2v2 in the mid lane, which then snowballed against them.
Well, taking some time here to lock in that mid lane pick for Incarnation. See what he does take away. Of course, his 2 main champions so far at Worlds have been the Azir and the Varga, but he's got a whole lot up his sleeve. We'll see whether it is the Orianna again. He could go back to that.
Yeah.
But
What-
you probably, it just doesn't feel fun to pick a champion that you lost with last time, and looks
yeah.
like the Lulu.
So they are going to grab the Lulu after all. We'll see if Incarnation can put enough pressure on TF to keep him from gaining map control. Westor's TF is famed for a reason.
Yeah.
There's some
Back
things
for a
constant
very
in League of
long
Legends
time
and
as well.
Westor's champion pool.
So it will be exciting to see him on a legacy champion there. And we can talk about Incarnation being pushed up in that lane. But with the targeted CC on the gold card, like you were saying, Kobe, into the cocoon, sometimes even Whimsy isn't enough to get you out of that situation. So Mountain prowling around the mid lane could be dangerous.
Yeah. The other thing I am going to watch out for, if they do seek that 2v2, lane pressure is going to be really big to allow the supports to roam. If Albus also roams, then that just makes it so difficult for the Lulu lane, because he can also come from the bottom side with support ganks. If they do that, though, Cloud9 have high kill pressure. Tristana Braum, if the support ever leaves their lane, Tristana Braum can look for a dive.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can actually make that one work. But ladies and gentlemen, tell us who you think came out on top in the picks and bans by tweeting at LOL Esports with the hashtag AHQ win or C9 win, and we'll see who has the edge coming into this game. And, you know, so far, Westor on his fabled Twisted Fate, coming off a pretty decisive victory against Invictus Gaming. And we'll see whether High able to rally the team and pick themselves up after that Fnatic loss for Cloud9.
The trends have been really interesting today. I mean, we're only into the third game, but AHQ plays a pick composition in that first game of the series against IG, manages to control Vision well enough to eke out a win in spite of a shaky early game. C9 comes against Fnatic, gets dove by what is effectively a pick composition, has a lot of trouble. So AHQ, they already showed us today that they're good with this kind of composition. C9 may be a little bit weak. They have to overcome that right now.
Yeah, I don't know. The last ban there from Cloud9, going with the Fizz rather than something like the Elise, might come and bite them in the rear end here, as Westor is sort of forced onto a champion with wave clear. So now they do have
I like the idea
squad
of
as well.
banning that one away.
Oh, they've caught Ziv though and burn his flash. See if they make use of it though. Gonna have to target him early if they want an advantage off of that. And if they do a lane swap, then he can just hide himself until the flash comes back up in the jungle, going for double jungle, not even having to expose himself to a lane phase.
A lot of deep vision now available here for Cloud9, who do get a bunch of wards down. See, AHQ already committed to that bottom side by the looks of things, as minions are going to spawn in about 7 seconds. Carnation throwing out some flares in the mid lane.
See what Albus is doing here. Just gets another ward in behind that tier 1 turret. And meantime, On will just head down and start out at the Krugs, it would appear.
Yeah, Cloud9 recalling from the jungle there, but AHQ moving straight in. It's actually very bold to go face check all of these brush after Cloud9 recalled, and they weren't sure they were still here. But nobody's punished for it on AHQ's side, and they both start on top side with the double jungle. So both junglers will be ending down on the bottom side of the map. See if High can get the better of the Lee Sin versus Elise this time around.
All the Krugs and all the Gromps are going to be dead. First 2 minutes of this game as Cloud9 are going to move towards the bottom lane, as are AHQ. Mountain now going to be taking this one down. So, see how this one works, as Ziv is going to have that 1v1 matchup against the Darius.
And once again, here's an interesting variation on the double jungle that Cloud9 like to do. They have Balls take the small minions there and just go to lane and actually have High do the tanking. So Balls still has teleport. Cloud9 have actually invested High's health pool into a teleport advantage for Balls. Ooh. So I want to see if they make use of that teleport early, maybe in the bottom lane, watch for elimination to try and get a ward deep down in this brush, and then maybe have them back off for an early teleport play from Balls, because otherwise they just lost out a lot of health on Lee Sin for small teleport cooldown advantage.
Yeah, and it's not, in this particular situation too, with the way the pathing in the jungle is gone, it also eliminates really a possibility of taking advantage of Ziv's flashless state, because if you have a lower HP Lee Sin, or one that's a little bit delayed in the jungle and also simultaneously heading down to that bottom side, it does give Ziv a bit of respite in that top lane. So interesting trade-offs being made for sure.
High actually might go for an early gank here. He'll probably take this crab as the lane is actually pushed in for some extra vision. And he's been able to sustain back up just fine, being Lee Sin.
Yeah, it looks like sneaking elimination, pushing up fairly far in this bottom lane, so AHQ might find themselves a little bit more difficult to gank here on the bottom side.
And look at that. Balls, he goes for the strategy for top lane where you just quickly shove the lane in and then walk back to lane. So he's, again, saving his teleport. Mountain does find him, or he finds Mountain.
Yeah, who's found who Kobe is. Mountain takes a heck of a lot of damage. Balls without the apprehend. Not going to find Mountain on that one.
Stops the counter jungle there, as well as gets a good health trade and burns the flash, but he face checks a second brush.
Yep, don't make the same mistake again. Oh, Boomerang just misses onto Balls. Has to blow the flash to get back under his turret.
Getting a little bit risky right there, and now that range on the Gnar really comes into play. Are they going to push this all the way into
no
a
help.
dive?
He has
Never
no
do it
help
a
on the
third
way.
time.
Face checking that second brush, really, really risky there. AHQ are definitely going to go for this dive, and Hai is not moving towards that side of the map. Can Balls get the outplay without his flash?
Oh, there's a hook down in the bottom lane as well. Nice for Chompers, but it's only half the health of a Braum as Mountain's coming in. They're looking to try and get some damage on this turret. Well, they're toying with Balls for the moment, not opting.
Dare he go for that cannon? No.
Well, zoning him away from cannon minions, I mean, that's a victory.
They actually do not want to pull the trigger here. They still haven't seen Hai, so as far as AHQ know, Hai is on the way.
This is interesting. We haven't had too many instances of a 1v1 in the top lane.
Wow.
Where the jungler will just come and help right there. And you can see Balls getting a little gun shy right as the Mega Gnar comes through. But Mountain using that Elise, one of the better champions for helping out a top laner take a turret. And the double range versus the melee means they're going to get it.
Yeah, Mountain really turning this top lane matchup right back around.
And that was a full wave of experience the Ball just missed out on then. So Ziv moving towards level 6 while Ball's yet to hit that level 5 mark. Having that advantage.
Well, they're really investing a lot of their time into Ziv. When you let the jungler just sit in the top lane, you give the enemy team so much more information. And also, you can see that C9, the price of this, they've started to get a pretty nice CS advantage on the bottom side of the map here. Because they've been able to play so freely without concern for the enemy jungler. Also, the advantage that Hai got from farming for pretty much that entire time.
Yeah, he's even been able to go back, grab that Chilling Smite as well as the longsword, so he's ready to fight.
Flash
Towards top.
back up for Ziv now. So he successfully waited out that time period with the extra Elise pressure. Can't be trouble to clear out that ward.
Yep, no. Doesn't have time. It's got to be killing them Krugs. Ziv going to hit that Mega Gnar now as well, level 6 to level 5, so Ball's probably not going to go too aggressive, but pretty safe at the moment with so much health. Now hits level 6.
Very curious to see how far Ziv wants to push this and where Mountain's going to go next, because that top lane turret is just hanging on by a thread. And do they want to try and push it out and get a freeze back? How much do they want to deny Balls in this matchup? Because in terms of CS, he's doing just fine.
Botted. They see Elise, though, with their River Pink Ward, so Hai's going to go for that counter jungle because he knows where the enemy jungle is. Westor's level 6, though. He's going to teleport in. Oh, Hai.
Oh, Hai actually could be in trouble here as the blue buff is up. Ziv hops over the wall. They spot him out. Flash already burnt. Twisted Fate moving back towards the mid lane.
Flash for Grom.
Worth?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's 100 gold, man.
It's actually definitely not worth because Lee Sin hitting level 6 and having Flash is
Probably a good
just
idea,
in case
right?
you didn't catch that.
Sarcasm, everyone. Sarcasm. Nailed it. Hai making his way around again, but he's going to be spotted by another ward. Oh, just misses the Sonic Wave, so can't steal away that blue buff, and Mountain is going to lock that one down. But Westor, he doesn't get it.
That's still huge, though. Not having the blue buff on the Twisted Fate, this just increases the bully potential that Incarnation has. He's been doing a great job building a CS lead in that mid lane. So, and just Westor always in vision, always bottled up, and now without the freedom with the blue buff to really push out that wave.
Yeah, Cloud9's gold through jungle camps and lane CS now. Up to 500, though. Hai actually definitely outperforming so far. A little bit of a lead. Balls gets pushed off the lane, though, and that will swing the gold right back around if Ziv decides to finish this off again.
Yeah, good freeze coming in, too.
Leave it as a freeze as well.
This is it's AHQ's plan coming together right now. They took the hit in the other lanes, and the advantage is this. Store with the gold card.
That polymorph is going to at least allow him to wander away as a seal, which is more than fun. But he's being so bullied out of this lane. And a lot of it comes to rest.
Oh,
on
look at this
West.
jungle camp here, though.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Incarnation
Destiny.
moves first from the mid lane. Good positioning.
Yeah, the Winter's Bite does come down. Last proc of that passive, not quite there yet as the flash does come through. Decent use of the Death Sentence comes down and Westor finds himself all on his own, but Sneaky jumps in. Mountain uses the repel, may have to flash out of this one, does so over towards that Krug camp, and Westor, now there's 5 C9 members in that jungle and Balls can't quite close the gap on the Apprehend.
Gonna go for that red steal, though. Cloud9 get the invade. Couple of flashes traded there. Braum passive dropping off of Elise was crucial. They couldn't get that last hit.
And C9, they saw the freeze coming into the top side. Sneaky grabbed.
Yeah, there it is. The Chompers come down as well. Nice Unbreakable from Elimination, but takes the Lantern to try and get round to the other side. Albus gets stunned up. On flashes forward, the last auto attack calculated right there for the Jinx, and Lemonation is going to die for the double. Arn is getting huge in this game already. AHQ now trying to follow up. The gold card's down under high. Westor says thank you very much.
He's coming back again. There's the gate.
Yep, looking for more as Balls able to get a lot of damage through the dunk. Flashes out of the way, but it's not enough. Balls is going to sacrifice himself. Ziv gets a piece of the pie. And AHQ now pushing on the bottom lane. This game just exploded.
And Incarnation going to take the mid turret, so Cloud9 gets something for that. Remember, Incarnation can't follow this game. He doesn't have TP.
Worrying trend for Cloud9 is this is the 5th game in a row. Well, not in a row, but the 5th game that they have given up the first blood. AHQ with the outplay down bottom. That was a very nice combination with Albus and On.
So I want to talk about how that play got set up. So it all came from the tower take in the top side. When we saw Ziv take that turret and get the freeze, Balls did not want to overextend into that lane, which caused him to roam down and try and make a play on the bottom side where they had been pushing all game. And then this happened. On pushes the wave up, and then Sneaky gets caught very cockily walking into this lane, and they're going to get attacked by the minion wave here too.
This is the impressive part from On. The flash for the rocket turns around. Auto attack's already in the air, so Sneaky even wastes his flash as well, and they turn it around. As you know, High gets caught by the gold card from Westor teleporting in as well.
Yeah, and Westor still has the gate and the Destiny up, so he's able to get under that turret. Does sacrifice himself to Balls, but Balls falls too. So this was entirely a chain of plays that started in the top lane with the tower going down, ended up with Cloud9 trying to make a power play on the enemy side, and then AHQ pushing up and kind of Sneaky and Lemon getting a bit too cocky about how they could return to that wave.
Yep. High going aggressive again, though.
Yep, takes the Lantern out, does Mountain, as Lemonation is going to get caught up by the Death Sentence, but AHQ going to be safe for now. Westor looking to try and start something. Locks in the gold card.
Ziv also cutting them off in the river. 3 versus 1.
There's no Mega Gnar.
If the skill shots land,
They didn't. Apprehend does, though, as Ziv just going so aggressive. Doesn't have anywhere near a Mega Gnar. This could be just handing Balls another kill. High grabs it as Ziv falls down. And AHQ, they are going to have Albus fall as well. It's going to be the Braum locking him down with the passive.
yeah, dangerous game there by Ziv. You know, he was lucky when the 2 skill shots landed, but stayed in range. Balls apprehends him, and he goes down, burning the flash as well, so Cloud9 strike back.
That was perplexing, though. Ziv, I don't quite understand. Dodges everything and then just wanders casually back in.
Yeah, when he doesn't have the Mega Gnar, you have to assume that there was a miscommunication there because he went back in on that. Perhaps thought his teammates were closer than they actually were, but definitely a misplay. And he's going for that Frozen Mallet first in this game, so looking to kite that Darius in the laning phase.
With those kills as well, if Cloud9 can even up the turret score, they will get right back to even.
Possibly even in the lead as well. Look at that CS deficit for Incarnation against Westor. That is huge. 36 CS at the moment. Stack Deck is going to be doing some work here for Westor to try and give him some extra cash, but they're not going to be working out. Just completed those Lucidity boots.
Look at this extension here by Ziv on the top side. They know he doesn't have flash now. And High working his way up there. They saw Ziv place his ward over the wall of the tri-bush, so High should know that there's no ward actually in the tri-bush, and he could get behind Ziv right now. If Ziv shows himself in the lane, I would really look for High to go cut him off. But it looks like they aren't going to go for it.
He's going to kite the wave a little bit right there. And you know, in spite of that big CS differential in the mid lane, the actual gold value is less than 200 right now.
Stack
Due to the
pretty good.
kill, due to the stack deck. due to the
Tower
extra
ahead.
tower. So it's actually not going quite so badly as
Yeah.
you might assume for Westdoor.
He is playing so far back in the lane, though. Still understands that he can get bullied out by the Ignite on this Lulu. And it's interesting how Lulus play so differently based on that summoner spell. You see that the teleport Lulus will play a lot further back, whereas Incarnation wanting to bully as much as possible to make use of that summoner choice.
I'm very curious. I think that Cloud9 may have not been watching as Ziv was clearing the pink ward. And they just assumed that since he cleared it, he also placed one in the tri-bush. But got to pay attention to those small things. Down bottom, though, by Dragon. Now looking to get up some vision of their own. I don't think either team starts it off blind. Both teleports are ready.
Well, AHQ moving around immediately, sweeping out the vision, but Rift Scuttler is going to be collected there from high, so full vision of the area for now. Mountain is going to discover a ward, and we'll see whether Elimination can be enough to deter him from removing it.
Yeah, defending the pinks is extremely important right now. Cloud9 have invested a lot of gold in the vision around this Dragon.
Elimination going to take a lot of damage, though. There's the Death Sentence back. They really want this kill. That is going to be secured by Arn as he tries to flash the wall.
Defending pinks, very important. Not that important, though, to sacrifice your life for it.
Your point was very well proven, though, Kobe. I liked it.
Well, up until that point, too, C9 got the Scuttle Crab. They had a very good position on the river because AHQ had pushed up. They were worried about the Dragon being taken, and Sneaky was starting to push it back out. They were moments away from making a very good Dragon play there, and it just all came unraveled.
Little bit too risky right there. Trying to take out the pink ward.
Explosive Shot doing some work there under Arn, who's going to play a little bit further back, but 3-0 and 2. 100% kill participation for this Jinx, and we mentioned how much farm Arn gets for AHQ. See whether he can carry forward.
Also, Cloud9, after that elimination going down there, they're going with a kind of a risky play here. They decided to have balls freeze in the top lane against the team with TF. Now, if the top laner freezes like this with the lane so far in Cloud9 territory, makes it hard for Ziv to go up there, yes, and try and CS, but it encourages AHQ to make a play on the other side of the map. So Cloud9 on that other side of the map have to play very defensive.
Well, some items coming in here for AHQ as well. Frozen Mallet now completed for Ziv, as well as the Infinity Edge for Arn. And as far as single item power spikes are concerned for AD carries, it's a pretty good one there for Jinx.
AHQ needs to make a play right now. They can't just let balls freeze at tier 2 forever. They need to just start putting pressure on the Dragon, start putting pressure on perhaps the mid lane turret or the tier 2 in the bottom side, or start getting deep vision in the enemy jungle. Because otherwise, C9 should not be able to make this play right now.
Cloud9 now reversing that top wave, ball starting to shove it, and they just burst the Dragon.
Yeah, free. As you like. The Death Sentence comes through, but that was not going to find it, and Cloud9 locked down the first Dragon.
You can see the trigger, though. 10 seconds before they start that Dragon, top wave starts pushing, and balls cues the wave. So they try and get top wave pushing again in their favor right before they go for the Dragon. So if AHQ decide to commit, then at worst for Cloud9, they then have pressure again on top.
Yeah, still a little bit late there, though. And that was a very greedy play from Cloud9, a very punishable play in a lot of ways.
If they were,
Those are the plays those are the calls that High will make, though.
Well, it worked out this time. Dragon over, first of the game.
Certainly did. Balls not so apprehensive this time around. Going to be able to lock down this farm. So Balls having a decent time here in the top lane. Definitely better than it was the last game. But about this time, it was inhibitors falling in the game against Fnatic. So definitely turning around, and this game working a whole lot more slowly. That being said, AHQ do still have that gold advantage by about 1.2.
Now, High seeing AHQ have so much pressure out here on the top, goes, smites his Raptor buff, gets the proc, clears out that one ward on the backside of the red. Doesn't have the charge left to see that one, though, but at least gets up some defensive vision for Cloud9 around their red quadrant.
You can see right there a couple of pings coming down from HQ on the bottom side. They don't have any wards, so take a couple pot shots with Jinx, but then Lantern right back out. You can see the cautious play, and it comes down to the vision now. AHQ has to set up better vision. There's a slow.
Yep, Gold Card comes down. The Unbreakable was there, though. Has to flash his way out. Does Westdoor. Cloud9 get a free summoner.
Yeah, that's actually fairly key for them, because the thing that Cloud9 the reason that they're playing sort of defensive right now and playing cautiously and mostly defensive warding is because of Westor, because of the TF teleport. Taking out his flash, you know, attacking the source of the global does reduce some of that threat from AHQ.
Also a huge help that they got the mid turret down early, so he doesn't have that position of safety in the center of the map to operate from.
Yeah, that was paid for with blood of the bottom lane.
Yes, it was.
The sacrifice. But decent AHQ wards on the top side of the map. Means that Ziv could potentially get up there and pressure that inner turret. AHQ moving everyone around, trying to get down and defend this outer turret in the bottom lane. Sneaky hanging around there, but not going to stay for too much longer.
They got to set something up now. There are many opportunities here for AHQ. Ziv now coming down into the mid lane, will be pinged out, seen behind the red.
Yeah, the battle for vision is completely over this red quadrant. AHQ trying to keep up vision so that Ziv can continue to try and push. But Balls is playing it really well, not overextending, not letting Ziv make use of his Frozen Mallet build. This Frozen Mallet build really shines in the long lane when Nara is able to try and chase down Darius and has distance to punish him.
I feel like this whole last 7 minutes of the game has been all about vision. Denial, trying to set it up for the next objective. And of course, with Dragon not available, seems like the next logical choice for AHQ would be sieging the mid lane, but just can't seem to do it. Incarnation with a bit too much wave clear at the moment and a 50 CS lead now on this Lulu, almost with that death cap completed.
Some small things here too. Sneaky with the Avarice Blade during this defensive farming period of Cloud9, whereas On went for the extra power and went for the full zeal. Sneaky's Avarice Blade earned him 250 so far, as he's been able to clean things up. Lemon now actually getting the Glacial Shroud, so even though he showed an early Null Magic Mantle, looks like he will try and grab the...
We'll see whether Sneaky can keep that Avarice Blade for 600 gold earned, so he makes up for the 3 kills, evens it out completely. 900 gold would be the correct mathematics on that.
Got a ways to go so far, but it's still early in the game. And
but at about 75 minutes, Monte Cristo.
I mean, those were also assisted kills, plus they had nothing to do with Steel versus Abs.
There's no need to go into this.
All right. You're happy now, though, because there's lightning on the field.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just distract Atlas with the shiny
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
The shiny things. There we are.
Oh, that crit, though. Incarnation taking
Massive
AoE.
damage. Speaking of shiny things, Super Mega Death Rocket, that's a goal. As the zap doesn't quite find it on the Incarnation. Westor wants it, plays the Destiny, but probably won't go too far. No, he's gating in, looking for something? No?
Yeah, Incarnation dares him to come for the steal there as he recalls.
Okay,
But
Wildcard's not going to get there.
the Braum shield doesn't do anything blocking those giant rockets that explode anyway, so the rockets just explode and they still hit both of them. Eye goes
The
down.
play back into the Flame Chompers there as well, is going to secure high as the kill, and both towers in the mid lane. AHQ pulling the trigger at 21 minutes. Incarnation comes back, but he's getting crit. On he knows when his power spikes are.
I've been loving watching this guy play Jinx in this tournament. So aggressive, knows when to flash forward to clean up the fights, and he has that trust in his teammates to back him up. Done it a couple times already this game, and it has paid dividends.
Huge pick there by AHQ in the mid lane, setting him up to deal damage as they chained on Incarnation, and there's nothing you can do to protect against those Jinx rockets. So here's what it is. Incarnation is able to dodge the hook, but he goes back in and has to skirt around the Flame Chopper. So boom, Rocket explodes, still takes full damage. Rocket crits, still takes it. Bromwall did block one of them, but man, absolutely destroyed there. And it was such a huge swing because they got 2 turrets after it due to the Jinx quickly taking the turrets.
And Westor too, his use of his ultimate may have seemed a bit gratuitous, but he actually delayed Incarnation's recall. He has a Lich Bane, so that bought them even more time to take a second tower, so it actually worked out quite well.
And if you're talking about being able to take things from these fights as well, with a Twisted Fate with a Lich Bane as well as a Jinx, they can destroy turrets so quickly. As Ziv going aggressive onto Sneaky. Gold card's down. Sneaky definitely caught in the wrong position there as Balls teleported in, but I don't know whether it was the best idea. Death Sentence doesn't land, but it doesn't matter. Everyone's piling on top of the top laner, and AHQ grab another couple of kills.
I mean, Cloud9 were playing defensively for so long because of the Twisted Fate ultimate, but here they just lost it after losing that huge play in mid lane, and they overextend up top. Even used teleport to give an extra kill away to AHQ. Very big swing.
Hello, Incarnation. There's the Destiny one more time. The red card's been locked in, but it doesn't seem to matter here as Ziv. He's going to proc the Hyper. High finds his way down. Westor not quite with that Zhonya's just yet. But Ziv with enough pressure. The Sonic Wave did land, but they've killed him in time.
There's no way you're getting around that. It doesn't matter if it's a gold card or a red card because the Frozen Mallet from Ziv is just going to lock you down on the escape. And AHQ finding the picks for the second game in a row today, for them at least.
Yeah, and it always looks so much cleaner after the 20-minute mark. It seems like this team just sort of lays in wait and then jumps out and destroys you when they can roam around the map and get these picks. Mountain does find the lockdown, and Sneaky's just going to die. That Cocoon was fantastic, and Lemonation, he's probably going to follow suit. Glacial Fissure is not going to be enough.
Well, AHQ, they just waited very, very patiently for Cloud9 to make a mistake. They had a pink ward in that brush in the mid-river on the bottom side. And when Incarnation came back for the face check again, they just snapped their trap shut and took a hell of a lot on the map after that. Second dragon of the game. It's like it's going to be theirs.
Yeah, Westor going to help lock that one down with Arn as well. So it's going to even out the dragons. And High going to be taking down his Gromp. But what does Cloud9 do to try and turn this one around? Do they need to now start grouping up for these potential team fights with the added advantage of a Lulu?
Problem is right now for Cloud9 is that the Zhonya's Hourglass has been completed for Westor, so he can actually initiate these team fights. And then the follow-up from Zivs with a Randuin's Omen is absolutely brutal. So even team fighting may not be an option.
Yeah, plus with the Baron buff on AHQ right now, they can have Westor split. They'll get a whole bunch of pressure. They can clean up that last secondary turret. And just like that, 10,000 gold lead almost earned here for AHQ.
Yep, cheeky ward from Cloud9 is going to spot Mountain here for a moment. Oh, that Cocoon was very lucky. If he'd put on any weight at all, that would have hit.
If only he was a little bit taller, but a Yordle, sadly.
Yeah.
Kobe can I can identify with that song because he wishes he was a baller. We know that because of his ID.
There's already a shot caller on the team.
Oh dear. Well, Baron buff swirling around Ziv, allowing him to push up this way, but you can see AHQ have their eyes on the mid lane as well. The inhibitor turret now under fire as Arn's going to make his way in. Get that minigun out, start shooting that turret because that's going to fall so quickly. AHQ are going to cop a zap. Now the wave clear arrives. You got to remove them from this turret.
Jinx has been one of the most successful stories here as far as single champions. Did lose quite a lot of momentum yesterday.
Yeah, before yesterday was 9-2. After yesterday was 10-5. But a couple more wins coming in today.
These AoE rockets on the grouped up C9 definitely doing some work. AHQ trying to tank this one out as best they can. Mountain, not exactly the tankiest Elise as he's opted for that Rylai's Crystal Scepter as his second item, as well as that Runeglaive, of course. C9 Elimination took a lot of damage, but they're still trying to defend this turret. Don't know how much longer they can do so, though, as High looking for a potential engage. Balls does get the apprehend off, but High's already dead in this fight. There's the Death Sentence under Lemonation, and it's all falling apart. Destiny comes down, Incarnation melting at the hands of AHQ, and Arn just running towards the fountain. Sneaky trying to do battle with the added bonus of having his health regenning. Buster Shot comes in, the explosion, he wants to share it with his teammates, but this looks like AHQ closing out this match. The Nexus turret's being destroyed, and this is a completely different AHQ. This is not a 1-2 AHQ, this is a 2-0 this week around. What a stunning performance from this Garena side.
Absolutely, playing the pick comp again, and Cloud9 falling to more or less the same strategy 2 games in a row right now. They've got to look forward to this IG match later today. They only need this one win to make it into quarters. But guess what? My dream of the 3-3 tie is still alive. We made it through half the day. Come on.
I believe it's
I hope that Monty's dreams do not come true.
You don't want the 4-way 3-3 tie for the epic tiebreaker?
We need it.
I want it.
Completely
The drama,
understand.
Kobe.
I actually do think that the really apparent thing here for this game, AHQ on blue side, a completely different animal. When people don't get to double ban Westor,
Yeah.
magical things happen. You know, the Twisted Fate left open this time, huge for them.
And that speaks volumes for the potential, 3-3 going through here for AHQ. I mean, the next time they're on the other side of the rift, it might be more difficult for them to pick up a victory.
I want to talk about Ziv, too. What an outstanding day this top laner is having. He is looking absolutely brilliant.
The whole tournament even, yeah.
It's definitely a very strong player coming into this and having his team play very well around him to make sure he gets ahead and make sure he gets those advantages.
I think
Yeah.
the story here, though, has to be on because this guy's Jinx was unbelievable this game.
Well, we talked about he's only second behind Imp in CS between 15 and 30 minutes. He gets all the gold. So you
Yeah.
have to be able to deliver. He delivered.
Yeah, I mean, and coming into this tournament, we set him up. You know, he has the highest CF differential of anybody here coming in. You know,
Yeah.
HQ like to focus on him, get a lot of money, dive the bottom lane, make sure he has that advantage, and he has performed really well. Even though Westor is the most famous name on the team, Ziv and On, huge carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Westar as well, he's more than happy to sit back, is that veteran, and that whole laning phase, he was under his turret. He was being pushed in the entire time, but just did exactly what he needed to on TF that game. Wasn't trying to take any glory, just clearing out minion waves with wildcards.
It's very clear that AHQ plays around their side lanes.
Yeah.
And Westor is just left to his own devices, but he does some work with a little, but he trusts the rest of his team to really carry the games.
Yeah, and does it
As
mean
he
that
should. Well-placed trust.
Well, that's a very good point, and we've seen him banned out, and the fact that does give a lot of opportunities for other teams. But could we potentially see Mountain focus some more as well? Maybe get some more of these Rengar picks out because the Rek'Sai / Elise seem to be his go-to picks, and the last two games, both Elise picks looked fantastic, and there are a couple of options for dismantling this side potentially.
Potentially, and I think another question, like Kobe was saying in the draft of this game, is do you just ban the Elise if you're on red side and you're Cloud9? Because that pick seems very strong against C9 right now.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, at least right now.
Yeah.
So much momentum for the early game you can get.
And such a high percentage of first pick as well. So if you're on the blue side, generally, you're going to be getting an Elise. It just seems to be the thing. So we'll see what happens as we move forward. Of course, still 3 more games, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see whether we can get to this 3-3. I'm so glad that the dream
3-3
is still alive.
Well, we're guaranteed at least one tiebreaker now.
Great. I just
Thank
want
goodness.
a 4-way tiebreaker.
I give you one, Monty. It's not enough for you. You want everything.
Four-way tiebreaker, ultimate drama.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the tiebreaker for everybody in this group. Chance of quarterfinals on the line.
With a 4-way tiebreaker, how many games are we going to have?
3 should
Does he just
be.
play the group again? Like,
Just a round robin, everything
yeah,
again.
just do it again. Don't worry about it. But it's time for an inside look at AHQ's win. Let's check in with Shox in the interview lounge.
Thank you very much, guys. And we're talking to the man that had an incredible performance once again on from AHQ on that Jinx. Tell me how you dismantled Cloud9 because it was very convincing.
他说你打秦克斯打得非常好，然后把 C9都打爆了。那请问你是怎么做到的？
就是我比较擅长的就是进克斯，然后加上最近练了很多场，所以打得很好。
I always like to play Jinx, and I practice a lot. So that's why I did good against C9 with Jinx.
Well, your Jinx is definitely very good, but besides that, you just seem to exude a huge amount of confidence, and it's only your very first World Championship. Can you talk us about that experience and how it seems that you don't seem to have any problems in lane, even if you're in a bad matchup?
就是目前为止是你第一次打世界大赛，那可是看起来你每一场都打得很有自信。然后想请问一下，就是你目前打，就是虽然是第一次打，可是你的感觉是什么？因为感觉好像就算你的 lane 在落后，你还是可以那种放开来打。
就是第一次在世界大赛打，然后就是不会害怕，我就是想要证明自己而已。
It's my first Worlds, but I'm not scared. I'm just here to prove myself.
Well, we are seeing that. Someone who's also never scared is Westor, who always gets a lot of attention on your team and who's always very confident, saying this year again that you guys have a good chance of winning the World Championship. Next up is winning versus Fnatic. You've done it a couple of times before. How is your confidence going into that matchup?
他说另外一个不会怕的好像是西门，他每次都说想要拿冠军。那你们接下来要打 Fnatic， 然后你们也击败过他们几次，那你对接下来的比赛有什么想法？
对上 Fnatic， 我觉得我们非常有信心，只要打好自己的本分，应该就可以进8强。
So playing Fnatic, we're really confident. As long as we perform to our level, there's a good chance we'll advance.
Well, we'll see if we get that Jinx coming out again because it's very impressive. Thank you so much for talking to us on.
Thank you.
And good luck on the further matchups. We're going to take a quick break, and Fnatic is up next, but versus IG first to get their next win or loss in this group. We'll see what happens. We'll be back right after this.
All right, you want to keep doing it? Hey! Let's keep doing it as we play.
Just the entire time that it keeps coming in, and then we're trying to get a kill. It's like, wait, we gotta do the wave.
On flashes forward, the last auto attack calculated right there for the Jinx, and Lemon Nation is gonna die for the double. Near a Meganar, this could be just handing balls another kill. High grabs it as Ziv falls down, and AHQ, they are gonna have Albus fall as well.
Oh, that crit though, Incarnation taking AoE.
Damage. Speaking of shiny things, Super Mega Death Rocket, that's a goal. There's the Descent onto Lemon Nation, and it's all falling apart. Destiny comes down, Incarnation melting at the hands of AHQ. What a stunning performance from this Garena side.